Hey, how y'all doing? My name's Chef William Miller. I'm coming from the great state of Birmingham, Alabama. And I just wanted to talk to you all just a little bit about, the psychology of, let me adjust my chair because I don't want you all to think I'm really short. Um, I want to talk to you all about the psychology of being in the restaurant business. Okay. Now, like I just said earlier on, um, I've been doing this relatively about maybe 30 to 35 years, give or take on the timing. And everybody wants to open up a restaurant, everybody wants to go out and, enjoy food and things like that. But there's actually a psychological balance to it. Now, what I'm going to talk to you all about in this episode is the psychology of the consumer. Consumers would be the guests, the people who have the dining experience. Okay. Now, I've been doing this well over 30 something odd years, 34, 36. It's been a long time since I've been in here doing this. And you have to look at things for what they are. Most people just go out to restaurants and they just go in to get something to eat, but it's not that simple. When you go out to these establishments, now I'm not throwing nobody's name under the bus or anything, but as a consumer, people don't pay attention to the smaller things, the things that they actually need to know. Meaning, like when you go out to a wing spot or, just go to Burger King, Rallies, White Castle, or even in any of the high end restaurants, more so like Perry's, Fleming's, Papa Do's, places like that. As a consumer, you never really have a chance to actually enjoy what you're going to do. You think you're just going to go in here, sit down, get you some food, get you a couple of drinks in you, and then piff pam, you out the door. It doesn't work that way. People don't understand how the restaurants work. Now, with what I'm going to explain to you is the psyche of these restaurants. And as a consumer, because I have walked on both sides of that line as a consumer and as a production, meaning chef wise, line cook, maitre d', whatever. So in this episode, I'm going to talk to you and explain to you the psyche of what people need to know. This is my first live, so I'm a little things, but we're going to get through it. We're going to work our way through this. And my wife and my son, I know he's probably asleep by now, but I love him. His name is Armani. He was born on the 7th of June of this year. I'm so purely overjoyed that he came in, and he's doing very well, and his mother. And we just keep us in good spirits and prayers. But like I was saying, let me get back to what I was originally talking about. The psyche of the consumer. When we all go out, we all want to go somewhere nice. It just depends on the time of day, you know what I'm saying? Go get something to eat. You might be on a time restraint. I don't know. It just depends on how you are or what you have to do. But when you go to these restaurants, and this is just me, these are little tools that I have over the years that I've been doing, and they actually work for me. When I go out into these restaurants and things like that, and I take my wife and I take my family, or just going out, just to go. What I normally do once I figure out which restaurant I want to go to, I sit down and I observe everything. Now, let me explain this thing to you because most people don't do this. Most people just get up and run to the store or get up and run to these restaurants and go and do whatever they want to do, right? But there's a lot of safety protocols that you do not observe, that you don't understand, that you really don't even know. Like, prime example, and this is just me. If I'm going to go to any restaurant, let's just say I pull up in Applebee's, okay? Just because I'm a chef, I do eat Applebee's and things of such nature. I don't eat fast food or anything like that. So that's not even on this same category of what I'm explaining to you. Me personally, if I pull into your parking lot and as soon as I get out, and I know people smoke, people drink, beers and drinks, stuff like that. But if I get out of my vehicle and I step into your proximity, your parking area, and I see cigarette butts, beer bottles, trash blowing around, I'm not as likely to walk into your establishment and start to eat. Even if I smell your dumpster before I even hit the doors of your said establishment, then I'm not going to come in there. I'm not going to bring my family in there to sit down and have a good meal. Because if your area outside of your establishment is dirty, trash infested, you got bugs and stuff running everywhere, and I'm not throwing Applebee's or anybody like that under the rug. I'm not doing that. I'm saying from my own standings. You understand? I'm not going to bring my family in there because if you're nasty and not clean outside of your establishment, which means the inside is not clean either. Now, like I said, I've worked in some places. I've worked in some places here in Alabama, in Birmingham to be exact. And there's a lot of places that fall under the radar and a lot of people that stand above the radar on what they're doing. But at the same time, everybody has a psychological advantage. For me, I've been in this industry for a long time. For James and Christy over here that has never worked in this industry at all, they are more susceptible to walk in to the unknown. Now, with that being said, everybody has their own way of looking at things. You see what I'm saying? Everybody does. Some people like to smell burnt oil and burnt smells flowing through their nostrils. I'm not one of them. So, when it comes down to the psyche of the consumer, which is us, the guests, the mom and pop, the kids, those are your consumers. And people don't seem to understand this, but when you open a restaurant, you want to make sure your guests are enjoying their experience. Now, some people may get mad at me. A lot of people are going to get upset with me for this, but it's true. Women and children, more so children, can make or break a restaurant. Now, you probably asking me like, what you mean by that? Women and children can make or break a restaurant. The reason why I say that is because I have opened multiple restaurants here in Birmingham and I have done a lot of this stuff. I'm not one for numbers. I'm not one to sit here and, you know, think I know everything because I don't. But at the same time, you have to look at it for what it is. A family of, let's just say a family of four, mom, dad, two kids. Okay. They come to a restaurant. Everything seems to be in the norm. Mom and dad both trying to handle their kids before they get too wild. And they sit down. Mom and dad get their drinks. The kids is coloring on the little coloring paper that they give them at the door to preoccupy their mind. Mom and dad are still talking. they order their food, and Keyshawn, which is the dude, which is a little boy, he wants chicken fingers and French fries. So his sister wants the same thing. Now, this is where you really need to pay attention. If the kid's food does not come out the way that they're used to, and I'm not saying McDonald's and stuff is bad, but when you're taking your family to a nice restaurant or just a restaurant in general, there are mainstream items that children will eat. They don't look for anything else. Don't try to give them steak filet mignon or escargot. Don't do that. Children are simplistic people. When I say simplistic, I mean exactly what I just said. Chicken fingers, cheeseburgers, French fries, macaroni and cheese, sometimes spaghetti. It just depends on where you're at. They are very simple people. And if their food, 9 times out of 10, their food will come out before the parents do. And that's just how restaurants are. If this kid gets chicken fingers and his other sister gets chicken fingers and fries, and they do not enjoy their food for the company, the production, the producings of this place, they're going to lose. For every family that walks in that does that and has their children there, they're going to miss out on the other families that might have come in with this family or because of this family. Now, people don't understand this, and I'm not a genie. I just recently started doing this, sitting on here talking to y'all. And now, these are the things, the fundamental deals that I do when I'm taking me and my wife and my son out. And these are the things that I look for in every restaurant in Alabama and basically anywhere. Doesn't matter from Hoover, Vestavia, Mountain Brook, Irondale, Birmingham, Bessemer, 5 Points. It doesn't matter where, but these are the things that I look for as soon as I walk through the door. Now, some people may think I'm crazy. Some people don't. I'm just saying. When I walk into your door of your establishment, and let's just say you're between the 2 and 3 star establishment, you just opened up, you shouldn't have any bad reviews, right? But my thing is this: when I walk through your doors, I'm looking specifically for 3 things. 3 things. That's all I'm looking for. 1, cleanliness. Cleanliness of the building, the staff, and your bathrooms. Now, you're probably thinking, why you say the bathroom? Because 99.9% of the time, when you go into an establishment, you're going to go to the bathroom. At some point in time, you're going to go to that bathroom. So if you go in that bathroom and it reeks, it doesn't smell like it's been cleaned or anything, take your family and run right then, because their restroom is not clean, which means they don't have any respect for the consumer. And when they don't have respect for the consumer, that's where a lot of unnecessary issues come from. Meaning foodborne illness, sickness, just all kinds of bad things. And that's what it is. Now, let me elaborate on that for you. For me, I'm not talking about anyone else, just for me. I walk into an establishment. Before I even open the door, if you step down and you walk into any establishment, and most of the places that's got a name for themselves, got a little rug right in front of the door, either on the outside or more so on the inside of said restaurant. And I know a lot of people have walked in and stepped down on it. It sounds like a sponge. Don't do it. Because let me explain something to you about that spongy sound, that where it feels like your feet are sinking into the floor. I'm gonna tell you about that. That comes from people who do not know how to clean properly. When I say they don't know how to clean properly, they go out, they get a bucket of mop water, and they're supposed to clean that entire waiting area. They'll mop the floor, hadn't even taken the rug outside to clean it for one, or sweep it or run the vacuum over it. No. What they do, they mop the floor, throw the carpet or the mat right back on the floor while it's wet. When you start hearing that squishy sound, it's not just water. It's not. It is not. That is all the dirt, bacteria, and everything that is not supposed to be in that restaurant when you open that door and you walk through. While you're walking through, you got to stop and step on that mat. And what you're doing when you do that, you are bringing in bacteria and you are taking it out the same way. Now, usually when I go to these restaurants, and I don't walk in with my chef gear on. No, I don't do that. Because see, that's causing an issue. Okay. What I normally do when I come in, before I even open the door, I look at that door. If I see fingerprint smudges or just smears, not too keen about going in there. But I have my family, so I'm gonna take them in just to see. One more thing I do. Once I walked in, we've already explained about the mat situation, and I'm doing this as a consumer. This is just me. On my next part, I'll probably explain to you about the psyche of the production, of how that works. Because boy, I'm gonna tell you, there's levels to this. There's a lot of levels. But in the same token, excuse me, in the same token, once I walk in, I don't care where you are, what establishment, doesn't matter if it's a bar, restaurant, juke joint, anything. If you are serving food, alcohol, or anything, when I walk through that door, my eyes are looking everywhere for two things. Two, and these are very important. One, your Jefferson County food service record number. It should be in a nice little frame in plain view. In plain view. Why? Because the state is county recognized and is state recognized. It should be right next beside your state license, your alcohol license, and that should be the third one, your food handling report. And with that food handlers report, I tell everybody that I know, I do not eat anywhere that their food score, their health score is below. And I have to say it this way, below 95. Let me say that again. I don't eat anywhere where their health score is below a 95. Why? Because people don't really pay that any attention. They just think, oh, it's a new place. We just opened up. We're clean. We're good. But when the health department walks in and gives you a raring, raging 70, and it's a lot of times it's not because of the food. It's not because of that. It could be the building. It could be the bathroom. It could be the plumbing, stuff that you didn't have anything to do with unless you just built this place. Now, that's a different story. Most of the time when you get really, really bad health scores like that is because, one, food's not tempting where it's supposed to. Two, you got old food in there, stuff that is out of date. And it's a host of other things. There's a lot of stuff that people will get low scores for. Okay. Also, number one that I know for a fact they will get you for is your dish machine. That dish machine, if it's not temping anywhere during your sanitizing stage, it's supposed to temp out about 170. I'm not 100% sure because different models and different machines have different temp out parts, but that's a big one. They will shut you down because of that machine, because of that dish machine, because it's not temping where it's supposed to. Now, back to me as just as a consumer, okay? If I don't see that and I see you have anything below a 95, I'm not going to order anything. I'm not. I just can't do it. But I've done this for about 21 minutes, 21, 2 minutes. And I'm just talking. I'm just giving information where information is needed. So I'm gonna go in here and probably make me something to eat here in a second. But I would like for you all to come back and join me. Once again, my name is Chef Miller, and this is the psyche of the restaurant industry. Now, y'all have fun and have a nice night.